The train station was alive with noise heels clicking, announcements echoing, luggage wheels rattling, but for Claire Matthews, 29, everything stood still. Her fiancé had promised, "I'll be there, I'll never let you down." Yet the platform was empty. She checked her phone, no call, no message. The ring on her finger suddenly felt like a shackle. Betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it's silence that cuts the deepest. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. Claire's hands trembled as she clutched the ticket, the final call for her train echoing overhead. She whispered, almost choking on her own disbelief, "Where are you, Daniel?" Her fiancé had sworn this day was the start of their forever. Instead, she stood alone, fighting the humiliation swelling inside her as strangers passed with curious glances. The train roared to life, steel wheels grinding against the track. That's when a voice called out, deep, steady, familiar, "Claire?" She turned, and her breath hitched. It wasn't Daniel. It was Ryan Carter, 34, a single dad she had once helped years ago when his little boy fainted in a grocery store aisle. She had given her water bottle, stayed with them until the ambulance came. They hadn't seen each other since. Now he stood there, his son Tyler, 8 years old, clutching his hand. Ryan looked exhausted, his jacket worn thin, but his eyes carried something Daniel's never had: honesty. "You look like you could use a friend," Ryan said softly. Claire's chest tightened. The sting of betrayal was raw, but here was a man she barely knew, noticing her pain when the man who promised forever had vanished. Her voice cracked. "My fiancé, he didn't show up." Ryan didn't ask questions, didn't press. He simply guided her to a bench. Tyler, sensing the heaviness, tugged at Claire's sleeve and handed her a crumpled piece of paper. A child's drawing, a stick figure woman with a big smile. "That's you," Tyler said shyly. "Dad said you were the lady who helped me when I was sick. I wanted to make you happy too." Tears burned Claire's eyes, falling before she could stop them. The kindness of a child, so simple yet piercing, broke something open inside her. Ryan placed a steady hand over hers. Sometimes life shows up in ways you don't expect, and sometimes it shows you who really matters. The train screeched as it pulled away, taking with it the future Claire thought she wanted. But as she looked at Ryan and his son, a question echoed in her chest. Had she been waiting for the wrong man all along? ***. The platform clock ticked like a metronome, counting down to a life Claire suddenly didn't want. Her phone buzzed. A text. From Daniel at last. "Running late. Don't be dramatic." "I'll explain. Don't be dramatic." 2 words that had followed Claire through every canceled plan, every last-minute change, every small apology that never came. Her thumb hovered over call. She swallowed hard instead. Ryan shifted, reading her face without prying. "There's a small cafe on the mezzanine. Greasy eggs, decent coffee. Want to sit where it's warmer?" Claire nodded. "Please." They walked past a rush of arrivals, through a thin cloud of burnt espresso. Tyler pressed his nose to the pastry case. "Dad, they have the round ones with the jelly." "2," Ryan said, glancing at Claire. "If that's okay with you." She cracked a smile. "Only if one's for me." They found a corner booth. Fluorescent lights hummed. A barista shouted names. Somewhere a suitcase toppled, and someone laughed. Normalcy. The kind that grounds you when your heart won't. Ryan stirred his coffee, thoughtful. "You once told a scared kid he was brave for holding still when the EMTs came," he said gently to Tyler, as if reminding himself. "That was the first night he slept through without nightmares." "I said that?" Claire blinked, a little dazed. Tyler nodded solemnly. "You had a blue scarf. You squeezed my hand." She did remember. A checkout line, a collapsing boy, and how she'd stayed because no one else would. That day, she hadn't been anyone's fiancé. She'd just been a person who chose kindness. Her Phone lit again, another text from Daniel. Missed the train. Work thing. Don't make this a scene. Just come tomorrow. No apology. No, are you okay? Just a command, shaped like a plan. Ryan saw her jaw tighten and slid the sugar across the table like a silent offering. You don't owe me your story, he said, but I can sit here while you figure out what you want to say next. That was the kindness, the absence of pressure. Claire took a breath that didn't hurt and hit call. Daniel answered on the second ring. Bored already. Claire, thank God. I'm in Midtown. Jonah pulled me into something. Are you okay? She asked, a pause. What? That's what you ask the person you stood up. He exhaled. Let's be adults. We'll laugh about this next week. It's a train. We reschedule. You promised, she said, softer than she felt. You said I'll never let you down. Everyone lets someone down. Don't be. He cut himself off, maybe hearing the edge in his own voice. Look, I booked us brunch tomorrow. It'll be cute. You can post a picture. There it was, the reality she kept decorating with hope. They were a photo he wanted to look good in. Not a life he wanted to show up for. Where are you really? Claire asked, steady. Work. Her screen pinged. A friend's story floated to the top. Daniel, lifted on shoulders at a rooftop bar, neon slicing the night. Caption, Boys' Night, no rings allowed, with a winking emoji. Claire's cheeks went cold. She lowered the phone and felt her voice clear. In a way that scared even her. I'm not your prop, Daniel. Claire, don't start, he said, and the old script tried to pull her under. You're overreacting. This is why I said you should leave your job, less stress, if you lived here already. She pressed the speaker button and set the phone on the table. Ryan's eyes flicked to it, then away. He stood up and moved to the counter to give her privacy he knew she needed more than protection. Tyler kept drawing small tracks for a train that never crashed. Tomorrow bring the ring, Daniel continued. We'll reset, reframe, whatever you need to call it. But for tonight, grow up. Okay, Claire said, surprising herself with the calm that slid in. I'll bring you the ring, but I won't be wearing it. She ended the call. For a few seconds, the cafe sounds tunneled back in the hiss of steam. The ding of a register, a grandmother scolding a toddler about napkins. Then Claire let the smallest laugh escape her, the kind that sounds like a first step. Ryan returned. Set a napkin dispenser on the table, like a paperweight, to keep her from drifting. You good? No, she said, and the honesty gave her strength. But I think I'm done being almost good. Tyler lifted his drawing. This is you on a different train. It goes where you want. Claire touched the crayon lines and felt something steady click into place. That might be the most accurate map I've ever seen. They ate in companionable quiet. Greasy eggs, decent coffee like Ryan promised. When the bill came, the waitress murmured, embarrassed, I'm sorry. The card machine's acting up. We're only taking cash right now. At the next booth, a young woman in scrubs patted her pockets, flustered. I only have my card. Can I Venmo someone? I just got off a double. Claire's hand moved before her doubt could. She pulled a 20 from her wallet and slid it across. I've been rescued a lot today. Let me pay that forward. The woman's eyes filled. Thank you. It's just toast and coffee, but thank you. She glanced at Claire's bare hand, then the ring still sitting on the table like a paperweight of its own. Whatever you're going through, it won't always feel like this. When the woman left, Ryan leaned back. That was exactly who you were in that grocery store, he said. And maybe exactly who you get to be again. Her phone buzzed with a new text, this time from her landlord. Hey Claire, the building's hot water is finally fixed. Sorry for the week-long mess, she laughed. Incredible. One decent man on the planet. 2, Tyler said, mouth full of jelly. 3, Ryan corrected, pointing his thumb at Claire. She checked the time. I need to get back to my place. Pack up what I thought I was taking to New York and ship a smaller box the ring. She met Ryan's eyes. Could I ask you a favor? Walk me to the bus? I know that sounds silly, but I might change my mind if I'm alone. It doesn't sound silly, he said, already standing. And if the bus doesn't come, I'll get you a ride. I've got a friend who drives for a car service. Owes me for replacing his alternator in a parking lot. Dad's a hero, Tyler announced. Asterisk. I'm a guy who knows where the red wire goes, Ryan said, ruffling his son's hair. On the way out, a small crisis bloomed at the register. A middle-aged man in a wrinkled suit was arguing softly with the barista. I swear I had cash. My wallet must be in my other jacket. I'm late for court. Ryan didn't hesitate. He pulled out a 5 and slid it across. Happens to the best of us. The man stared, startled. You don't even know me. I don't have to, Ryan said. You look like a guy who needs coffee more than he needs to remember this moment. Outside, the evening air held the metallic chill of tracks cooling after rush hour. They rode the escalator down. Claire's phone buzzed again, now a string of half apologies from Daniel. That managed to center him in every sentence. Can we talk? You know I hate trains. It triggered my anxiety. I didn't want to dump that on you. Be considerate, she almost replied. Almost explained how she'd waited, how she'd dressed carefully, how she'd envisioned them building something real. Then she read the words again, be considerate. And she heard the translation she had learned too well. Be small. Bend, she typed instead. Returning the ring tomorrow at 10 a.m. to your office. Please have HR present. This ends here. Claire, she hit send. Her hands didn't shake. At the bus. Stop. An older woman struggled to lift a suitcase onto the curb. Claire stepped in without thinking. Here, let me. She hoisted the bag, found the handle, set it upright. The woman breathed out a laugh. Bless you, honey. Back's not what it used to be. Mine either, Claire said, surprised to hear the lightness in her voice. A beat later, a bus groaned up to the curb and then, with a cruel hiss, pulled past out of service. Tyler looked deflated. Aw, man. Ryan checked an app, frowned. Next one's 30 minutes. That okay? Claire looked at the fading sky, at the city that had felt like a maze today and now felt more like a map she could draw. It's okay. A car slowed at the curb. The driver leaned out. Ryan? A square-jawed man with laugh lines and a baseball cap grinned. Heard you needed a rescue. You're a saint, Kev, Ryan said. Claire, this is Kevin. He's the car service friend who thinks air filters change themselves. Kevin. Pop the trunk. Hop in. Where to? Greenpoint, Claire said. And thank you. As they pulled into traffic, Claire watched the station shrink through the back window, the platform, the clock, the tracks that went everywhere except where she'd been standing still. Hey, Kevin called from the front, catching her eye in the mirror. Don't know what your day is, but if this car had a tiny confetti cannon, I'd fire it for your courage. Most folks don't hit send on texts like that. Claire smiled. I didn't until today. Halfway across the bridge, her phone lit. With one last message from Daniel, just 3 words this time. You'll regret this. She felt the fear rise, and then fall like a wave that broke without dragging her under. No, she whispered, almost to herself. I'll remember this. Tyler handed her another drawing, this time, a ring being mailed in a tiny square labeled Post Office. Sometimes you have to send things back, he said. Sometimes you do. She agreed. As the skyline opened like a promise, Claire looked at Ryan. Tomorrow at 10, she said. I'll return it at his office. I won't be alone. Would you mind walking me in? Not to make a scene. Just to keep me honest with myself. Ryan nodded once. I'll be there. And after? She asked, a little daring lifting in her tone. After, he said. There's a park near my job site where Tyler likes to feed the ducks. We could all not be dramatic and eat sandwiches. Claire laughed, the kind that landed fully. It's a plan. She leaned back as the car slid into the city she was choosing, messy, bright, honest. Tomorrow would be the ending she owed herself, not the performance someone else demanded. Tonight, she'd pack differently. She wouldn't forget the train that left without her. She'd remember the people who didn't. Asterisk morning sunlight streaked across Claire's apartment, golden and merciless. Boxes stood half-packed in the corner, remnants of the future she thought she'd be building with Daniel. The engagement dress she'd picked for their first night in New York hung limp over a chair like a cruel joke. She slipped the ring into a small velvet box. Not a symbol anymore, just a transaction waiting to end. She whispered to herself, 10 a.m. sharp, no tears, no apologies. A knock startled her. She opened the door to find Ryan and Tyler, both holding paper bags. Ryan lifted his breakfast delivery. Figured you might not want to face this morning alone. The smell of warm bagels filled the air. Tyler, grinning, waved his bag like a trophy. I picked the blueberry one for you. Claire's throat tightened. Kindness had a way of slipping past every defense. Come in, she said, stepping aside. They ate in the quiet sunlight, softening the edges of everything. Afterward, Ryan glanced at the clock. You ready? Claire inhaled deeply, slid on her coat, and tucked the velvet box in her bag. Ready. The Confrontation Daniel's office was all glass walls and polished floors, the kind of place designed to intimidate. His assistant raised an eyebrow when Claire walked in, Ryan just behind her. He's in a meeting, the assistant began. But Claire's voice cut clean. He'll want to see me. The door swung open. Daniel leaned on the frame, tie loose, eyes flashing annoyance. Claire, really? You had to bring backup? Ryan stayed silent, hands in his pockets. The embodiment of steady. Claire stepped forward. She pulled the ring from her bag and set it in Daniel's palm. The weight seemed heavier than it should have been. It doesn't fit anymore, she said. Daniel's laugh was sharp. So this is your dramatic exit? You'll regret this, Claire. You think guys like me grow on trees? Her voice didn't waver. No, and thank God for that. For the first time, she didn't shrink under his gaze. She saw what she hadn't wanted to admit. A man who used charm like a weapon, who thrived on making her feel small. Ryan shifted, finally speaking. His tone was calm but carried steel. Respect goes both ways. She deserves better than excuses and rooftop parties. Daniel sneered. And what are you? A babysitter with a sob story? Stay in your lane. Claire met Daniel's eyes one last time. The difference is he shows up. You never did. She turned, walked out, and didn't look back. Aftermath outside. The city air was cool, cleansing. Ryan walked beside her, Tyler holding her hand now, like they'd been connected forever. Claire exhaled, the first breath in months that felt real. You were incredible in there, Ryan said quietly. Claire shook her head. I was terrified. That's what courage feels like, he replied. They stopped at a small park nearby. Tyler ran ahead, scattering pigeons with delighted shrieks. Claire sat on the bench, shoulders sagging, the exhaustion of release washing over her. Ryan sat too, close enough to be steady, but not suffocating. What now? I don't know, she admitted. For so long my life was waiting for him, planning around him. Now I get to figure out what I want without waiting. He nodded. That's not a bad place to start. Silence lingered, comfortable this time. The wind carried laughter from a group of kids playing soccer on the grass. Claire glanced at him, eyes soft. Why did you really show up at that station yesterday? Ryan thought for a long moment. I was just passing through. Tyler spotted. You first, but maybe I was supposed to. Her lips curved into the first real smile of the day. Tyler ran back, face flushed. Dad, Claire, the ducks need bread. Ryan laughed, standing. Duty calls. He glanced at her. Want to help us feed them? She rose. Yes, more than anything. Kindness, full circle by the water's edge. Claire tore pieces of stale bagel and tossed them. Ducks scrambled, Tyler giggled. Ryan shook his head at the chaos. Claire watched. Them, something aching and hopeful stirring inside. She'd lost what she thought was forever. And somehow in the ruins she'd found something real. The kindness of a child. The steadiness of a man who showed up without expectation. Her phone buzzed again. Daniel, another attempt at pulling her back. She powered it off without looking. Ryan noticed but didn't comment. Instead, he said, "Sometimes the people who disappear make room for the people who actually matter." Claire let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Then maybe yesterday wasn't the worst day of my life. Maybe it was the best. Ryan smiled faintly. Could be the start of something better. And as Tyler leaned against her, sighed, slipping his small hand into hers, Claire knew one thing with certainty. She wasn't waiting on any more trains. She was already where she needed to be.